Hello, everybody. How are we doing? How's things?
Hey. Hi. Hi.
How's everyone feeling? All these smiles, guys. Welcome. Hands up here. Who was in Tough Mudder on Saturday? Just got loads of hands up. So good to see all you guys. Obviously still here. Look at the hands. Well done. Those of you didn't see, Kate got up Everest. Was it fourth attempt or fifth attempt, Kate?
Oh my God.
Attempt
team effort there.
Team effort. And I quote,
now
don't cock it up next time. And then
I was trying to remember what you said. I knew it was something like that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go down first thing in the morning, okay?
And of course,
you should have enough for
fresh
tonight.
to help her get up.
Go and sit down.
So it did. So
I'll get your pizza on the go after I've had my tea.
if we can. There we go. Everyone muted. Perfect. One at a time. Guys, great to have you all here. Hope you're having an absolute cracking day. And obviously I'm still in a massive high myself from Tough Mudder. First of all, though, hands up here and unmute yourself if this is your first ever mastermind. Unmute yourself if it's your first ever mastermind, please.
Me.
I got Isabel. I see
Hello.
hello, Barbara. Hello, welcome to Barbara. Isabel, I got iPhone user. What's your name if you don't mind putting it in?
I haven't worked out how to do that again yet. How do I do it?
So you should be able to edit it.
Got it.
When you sign up. Amazing. Brilliant. Great to have you with us. Anybody else here for the first time? Here we go. That's Zoom user. Would you mind adding your name if you can?
I don't know how to, honestly don't know how to do it. This is a works computer, so it wouldn't be worth me doing it anyway because I use my maiden name for work, but it's Emma Birch anyway. You know me as Bulo on Facebook.
There we go. Good to have you here. Good
Oh my God, and I've spoke to her twice because she's got two different surnames.
I got three actually, but we won't talk about that now.
I think we should have had another collaboration under the other name, Emma. That's what I think we should have done.
Yeah, we had a lovely chat for a while last night on the phone. It was great.
We did.
Fantastic. And anybody else who's new here, drop a message into the chat to just say my first ever mastermind as well, just to make sure no one gets missed, which I'm obviously don't want that to happen. Okay, well, guys, it's great to have you all here. So today we're talking about different environments, social environments, in terms of what can make things more difficult. And it can make it more difficult when we're in a changing environment, like if a weekend away, family over, us at families, our houses, traveling, holidays. Let's put some examples into the chat, please, on what you would say would be the most difficult environments for you to be able to stay on track. What environments would you say gives you the most hurdles thrown at you? So we got son's wedding. That's a big one. Our son's wedding in 2 weeks, Jan. Brilliant. Thank you for that. Holidays. Let's do a wedding, because a wedding is normally a full day event. So hands up, who here has used specific techniques before that we've talked about in Elite for a wedding? Anyone been to a wedding in the last 12 months? Want to raise their hand? Any weddings? No one got married in the last 12 months. No, Pauline McCracken, go ahead. Brilliant. Let us know, if you don't mind, Pauline, a couple of strategies that you used on the wedding or at the wedding that was helpful.
Well, it was my own wedding, so actually I was able to control the environment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the usual stuff of like train in the morning if you can. Make sure you drink lots during the day.
Yeah.
Try and control what you're drinking by being the person that goes to the bar. Make sure that you go around and chat to people rather than eating or drinking, and just kind of making as good choices as you can within the day.
They're brilliant ones, guys. Please take note. So make sure we exercise first thing in the morning, because the wedding normally starts between 11 o'clock and 1 p.m. You get up early, you train early, that can't be taken away from you. I love the one that you said, Pauline, about going around talking to more people, being more sociable. It means if you're talking, you're not drinking and eating. So it actually is a very advantageous way. You said one more thing, Pauline, there as well, of a method. You go into the bar, that's a great one as well, because it means you're controlling what's ordered, and then that controls portion sizes as well. So it's a time to be generous in terms of perhaps buying more of the rounds. It means you're more in control. You know, it means you're more in control. Anne Slight, your hand is up. Go ahead, Anne. I'm going to unmute you.
Unmute. There we go. Yeah, so we went to a wedding in March. So it was when I was sort of in my first stage of TSD. I'd only been on it for a few weeks. But I got David to set me some resistance band workouts that I could use in hotels.
Yeah.
So I did that. Brilliant. And with the food, it wasn't so bad because it was kind of like, wasn't buffet style, but it was put on the tables and you could help yourself, as opposed to being a great big plate of food given, so you could control it that way. And really, come the evening, we drank water. We had one drink from the bar and it was so blooming expensive. We just helped ourselves to the free water after that. And we were line dancing, so that burned off a few calories. So that was quite good.
Great one. Dancing. Hands up here who likes dancing. Thank you so much for that, Anne. Loads of hands up. Yeah, I'm telling you now. Look at that bruise. What's that from, do you think? look at Sue as well. Wow. Just noticed it there.
You'll have to put a disco on after the next Tough Mudder, Alex. So you'll have to put you'll have to put music on afterwards the next time, so we can all have a bit daft carry on.
You know, Maria Pombo normally watches these back, and I know she'll be watching this tomorrow and she'll be replaying that, what you just said, over and over again. Yeah. And I'll be inundated with messages. Alex, why don't we start a disco or something?
Why do you think I said it, Alex? Because I know, because she tells me that she thinks I'm cheeky on them, so
I love
might
it.
as well push me luck.
I'll discuss it with the team. If you can get David to agree to it, then
what's the chances of that?
Then maybe. Brilliant, but fantastic advice there, Anne, and thank you for that as well. Dancing, moving, water, lots of fluids. There's also a degree of, I want you to make sure you go into a wedding and not feel like you're depriving yourself. You know, that's actually probably the most important thing. I don't want you to go in and feel like, you know what, I didn't enjoy it or I deprived myself. Having some rules in place can be very helpful. So I'm going to go through some rules right now. First of all, into the chat, can we give Alison Davidson a huge welcome? She's literally joined Elite 3-4 minutes ago. So literally couldn't be more short notice. Welcome, Ali. Lovely to see you here. And amazing that you hopped on so quick. Very impressed. Brilliant. Amazing. Fantastic. Hi. Okay, so rules that work for me, and you decide yours, is I say to myself, right, I don't drink alcohol with food. I prefer to have water with food. And that's the truth, actually. I do feel that sometimes if I have a beer, it takes away the taste of food. It puts this aftertaste of the mouth. So I actually like having water when I eat. So that straight away is a kind of a backward way of hydrating. And if you say I've got a rule, people don't tend to argue. Whatever it is psychologically, if we say I've got a rule, I don't drink alcohol when I'm eating, people don't tend to argue back with you. You could drive there as well, which means that if you're at an Irish wedding, typically they've got about 4 locations. You move from the church to the pub to the reception to somewhere else. And if you're driving, obviously you can't drink until you hit the last destination. Something else that I always do, going back to what Pauline said, is definitely exercise in the morning, definitely train. And I will bank some extra steps. I'll do a little bit more that week. I'll do a little bit more exercise that week for sure. I will increase my vegetables, perhaps pull my carbohydrate back slightly by like 5-10%, not massively, just because I know that protein and obviously vegetables will keep me fuller for longer. So if I'm pulling back calories, I'll decide to pull back carbs by 10-20%, nothing drastic, not removing carbs at all. So don't get that idea. It's just a small, slight adjustment. So into the chat, guys, what other social settings or social scenarios do we feel we're most at risk of going back? We're most at risk of having a slip or not being in control. Into the chat, please, if we can. All-inclusive holiday from Sati, barbecues, absolutely. I'm going to go all-inclusive holiday. So, a couple of things with this. first of all, quite polarizing advice. Don't book one, okay? If you can help it. It's a very, very easy way to try and minimize that being an issue. Try not to go all inclusive. And I know some cruises, it doesn't make sense to not go all inclusive, but if it does make sense in some ways, consider it. I know when we go on holidays, we don't go all inclusive because it means we stay stuck in the hotel all the time. If we are not all inclusive, we visit more restaurants, more cuisines, more places. I'm speaking very fast here, guys. Am I going too fast? Are you sure?
I think we're used to it now, Alex.
I was going to say
100 mile an hour.
100 mile an hour. There's just so much to cover in this. I want to try and throw as much at you as possible. And even if you pick up 2 or 3 things, for me, that will be a win. You know, for me, that will be a win. Okay, so try not to go all inclusive. If you do go all inclusive, remember, free food is not free. Hands up what I mean by that. Free food is not free. Any ideas?
There's no such thing as free food.
Yeah.
That's why the other diet plans don't work, because they have lists of free food and you can eat 5 chicken breasts if you want to, but that ain't going to help you lose weight.
You said it, Deborah. Absolutely. And while you may not be paying for it financially, if it's all inclusive, you pay for it every other way. Okay. You pay for it with bloating afterwards. You pay for it with guilt. You pay for it with regret when you look back a few days later and you feel like you've lost control. You also pay for it perhaps in the last few days if you don't feel good in yourself. You'd be surprised how a couple of pounds can go on even in a few days on holiday, especially at an all-inclusive. Especially an all-inclusive. So great point by Sati there, 100%. Any others, guys? Anything else in terms of where we feel most at risk? All-inclusive is one, definitely. I'm trying to think myself where I find it the most difficult. Actually, my in-laws, my wife's dad, Scott, is a fantastic cook, and he insists on making dinners for me when I'm there, and I really appreciate that. He's very kind. And what's helped me is just being really upfront and honest with him. And he's been with me when I'm in different shapes and sizes, depending on my goals, whether I'm competing in powerlifting or whether I'm not. And I'll say, right, Scott, I'm not competing in the next few months, or I'm not trying to gain weight. Need to pull back on a few things. Do me a favor. Let me plate my own food. Okay, I'll plate my own food. And I know I'm from a farmer's background like you. And I know obviously we're brought up to eat big, big portions. But I'd much rather little and often. You'll see me eating again in 2 hours. Don't you worry, I'll be coming back for seconds. And how I do that is not offensive. And I'm speaking to him like, obviously I'm very familiar with them. And then lo and behold, I am back for seconds, 2 or 3 hours later. But I'm just fitting it into my 5 or 6 smaller meals in a day rather than overloading in one portion. Is any of this helpful, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. I actually think we should really double down on that when we're with people, okay? Like a restaurant, like a family meal when they're cooking. Hands up who has any experience of this in terms of when it's been difficult or in terms of, go ahead, Sue.
Yeah, when I'm at my partner's place, he cooks and he plates up, but he'll plate up, you know, like a meal that he would have.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to get in the in, sort of cut the chicken in half or the bit of fish and put it away quick for tomorrow's lunch. But yeah. So that portion size can be tricky then when someone else is driving. Yeah.
100%. As a female, what can be very helpful there is to stroke the man's ego a little bit. And I know this works, which is by saying something on the lines of, I mean, what is this? Look, first of all, you're 6'2". You're like twice my height. I'm never going to need as much food or be able to eat as much food as you. And if you're complimenting the person, typically they take it quite well. That can work quite well. Thank you, Sue. Definitely.
I find he's putting weight on now because he's eating the bit I'm not.
Is that right? There we go. There we go. Well, you've signed up, not him. You've signed up, not him. So as long as you're progressing, brilliant. And it was lovely to meet him, by the way, at the weekend. It was amazing to meet him at the weekend.
Yeah, you enjoyed it. Yeah.
I'm glad.
Bit burnt, but
likewise, skin here peeling. Loads of hands gone up here. I want to try and make sure I speak to who was first. Does someone put their hand down, or did I imagine it? Anyone put their hand down?
I'll put my hand down for I've been gobbing on all the time, so I'll let somebody else go.
Okay, Rhonda Rice, go ahead. Rhonda Rice.
Yeah, that was me. Put my hand down.
Brilliant. Well, you have it up now. You've got an electronic.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, my stepsister, she's terrible with food.
Okay.
She tries to overfeed you so much.
Yeah.
And she says, well, you know, when we were growing up, we didn't have much, so we try to make sure no one goes away hungry.
Yeah.
And that's all the bad food. I mean, it's terrible.
And something first of all, I'm sure a lot of you will know that I don't use the word obesity very often, probably almost never, because I don't like people being labeled. And then what happens with the label is it means that we attach that to identity. But in this situation, Rhonda, I would use that. When someone says, there's like, we didn't have much when we were kids, or there's people in Africa who don't have enough food or are struggling, people who are dying all over the world with a lack of food, we can very simply say, and sadly now there's people all over the world dying from obesity or heart-related problems or diabetes. Or also, if you turn it away from weight and say, do you know what? Obviously, I do like food more than anybody, but I hate that bloated feeling. You know, when you've eaten too much and you have that bloated feeling, and everybody you speak to will have had that at some stage in their lives. So they'll start automatically agreeing with you. You're finding common ground, because if they're not trying to lose weight, you saying that you want to lose weight, it's a harder thing for them to get agreement with. It's a harder thing to get agreement with. But if you say, you know, that bloated feeling, I just don't like that. I'd rather have my fill and come back for more in a few hours. I'll be back. And that way you find that common ground. And hopefully it's not an awkward conversation.
Yeah.
Is that helpful, Rhonda?
Yeah, well, she takes it as a personal insult.
Really? Wow. Yeah. Okay. If someone does, I think it'd be worth having a conversation with the person. I like the lines of, and look, Mary, there's been something I've been wanting to say to you for a while, you know, and I've been a bit nervous about bringing it up, and that is, and then you explain what you're trying to do. If you frame it with, there's been something I want to talk about with you that's been on my mind for a while, and I've been nervous about bringing it up. Most people, they kind of lean into you then. You know, they listen to what you're about to say. They hear you out rather than being dismissive. Would we agree with that, everybody?
Yeah, I had a conversation with my sisters.
Yes.
And my family, that exact conversation, just explain what I was trying to do, and then you know, where I was in my life and where I want to be. And they've been brilliant, because we're feeders in our family. We come from an Irish background.
Yeah.
I've got 3 brothers, 2 sisters, and I have to say, if you communicate with people, they're usually really good. My family have been, so yeah.
Thank you, Jackie, because a lot of the time people don't support you if they don't fully understand why it's important.
Yeah.
But if you do what Jackie did there and just share why it's important, then most people should be supportive. So I'm hoping, guys, this is something that you can obviously have as food for thought, excuse the pun, but also apply into your life as well. Marie, go ahead.
Yeah, so I went to my sister's a couple of weeks ago up in Glasgow.
Yeah.
And she knows what I'm doing, and she thinks what I've been doing is really brilliant. But she says it's not for her. She's really quite overweight. But what she had was, so she did some fajitas, but there was no vegetables. And I'd said, oh, can I just have a salad? So she had actually bought me a packet salad from Asda. So I ate the whole lot of the packet salad. Yeah. And instead of vegetables, she had wine. You know, there was loads of wine from like 5 o'clock when I arrived. And I just said, oh, can I just have a cup of tea? I've been driving like for 7.5 hours. I'm just gagging for a cup of tea. Wow. But I found it really hard because she didn't have any healthy food in. Yeah. That's difficult. And I was lucky that I was only there for 2 nights, and I actually took my own gluten-free porridge with me, and my own berries, and my you know, the almond milk that I have, which she's just, I said, you know, take that back with you, it's fine. So that's what I had to do to make sure I at least had a breakfast, because there was no cereals or anything. So yeah, I'd really like her to join in, but she's not ready. She's not in a place like that. But there you go. It's just, you just got to try what you do to keep yourself on track, really.
Absolutely. And I'm hoping, Marie, over time, that if you keep being in her presence, you know, it does spill over. It definitely spills over. And a great way of helping that person or helping your sister without talking about weight is, again, finding ways of common ground. I'm by saying, look, I eat with my eye, and I just love to have multiple colors. You know, when I'm eating something, I like to have loads of colors. Don't ask me why, but I always like having multiple colors. It's actually why I like having, I suppose, vegetables, and there's a crunch. You know, I like the mix of the crunch as well. And if you're doing that, you're not mentioning health, you're not mentioning weight. That shouldn't make her feel uncomfortable, but it should get her to kind of say, oh yeah, I understand that. And that, I understand that, is actually a step further out of pre-contemplation. And pre-contemplation is where we either are not aware of a change needed to be made, or we're not willing to make a change. But if you can find common ground, it's why I'm trying to get people to talk about being strong, not skinny. Being strong as we get older, regardless of weight. Everyone wants to be stronger as we're older and more mobile. And what that should do is find common ground for people who don't like talking about weight. And that's what we're looking for. Is this helpful, guys? I know I'm going on a bit here.
Yeah.
I'm going to break through room really soon. Emma, go ahead.
I think Amanda has already sort of given me some ideas, but I was just saying, one of my elite challenges is to summit Penavan in the Brecon Beacons. I've done it before, but I'm just wondering what you'd suggest for me to take along food-wise to sustain us on the walk.
Yeah, how many hours?
It's going to be a few, probably 4 or 5.
4 or 5, yeah. So flapjacks would be your best friend. If you're going to flapjacks, definitely. Oat-based bars, carbohydrates, definitely. A lot of protein bars now are based around low carb, low sugar. Ignore them. Flapjacks are definitely going to be more advantageous if possible. For simplicity's sake, nuts can be useful just because they're easy to transport. They're not optimal from a sports nutrition point of view, but they are practical.
Right.
And then protein source, pick your favorites. Like I bring boiled eggs around with me the whole time. Crack them with my knuckles. So I do. Nice and smelly, absolutely.
I don't think it'll matter up in the Brecon Beacons somehow.
I'm just thinking of my wife, Babs, giving out stink to me. I've told you, no eggs in the car. No eggs in the car. I've heard that so many times, and I still bring eggs into the car. It drives her nuts. But yeah, find what protein sources you actually enjoy, and what. Give me some examples of protein sources that you like, Emma.
Oh, I mean, I love sort of eating chicken and, cheese and stuff like that, but obviously I don't eat much cheese these days. But yeah, eggs I like as well, so that would be great for me if it was doing it on the walk. So yeah.
Alex, why not? I didn't hear quite what you said about nuts.
Yes, so sports performance wise, nuts are not ideal purely because of their fat intake. When you have a high fat food, it slows the absorption of other macronutrients like protein and fat. Nuts have got loads of benefits in terms of selenium, in terms of calcium, in terms of nutrients, but they are quite nutrient dense because of the fat content. And what they do is they can slow the absorption of carbohydrate, and you need carbs if it's going to be a long active activity. If it's not sports performance based and you're not timing yourself for wanting to be at your best for that walk, then absolutely have nuts. But the downside is as well, nuts are between 450 and 650 calories per 100 grams, which straight away means that portion sizes have to be low. I still have nuts, but I would have them diced on a pad thai. I can control portion sizes. I can spread them over a bit more as well. So that's my thoughts. Typically, when people want to lose weight, if you're a big eater, I certainly am. I just decided to remove nuts and peanut butter out of my diet because I knew that they eat into my calories quite a bit. You know, so when I was doing like a bodybuilding photo shoot a few years back, I just removed them. But if you love them and you're not a massive eater, then and they're on your plan, stay with them. Absolutely. I hope that's helpful. Great question as well.
What about fruit?
Fruit, game changer. Carbohydrates, absolutely. Bananas, fantastic. Apples, whatever fruit that you like, definitely. I'd also bring wraps. Wraps are really convenient. Anyone here ever try a chicken and cranberry wrap before?
Yum.
Yeah.
Yummy.
Yeah.
Game changer. Big wrap, small amount of extra light mayonnaise, lettuce, dried cranberries, and cooked chicken. It is fantastic. The sweetness of the dried cranberries. And again, that's low fat, high carb, high protein, optimal for sports performance. Definitely.
I actually can't eat fruit and savoury together. Yuck. No. So I'd have the chicken, but not the cranberries. Or I'd have the cranberries to the side.
Damn right, Deborah. Damn right. I bet you put pineapple on a pizza as well, don't you, Alex?
Oh, I'm not going to open a debate here. I have a pineapple. I have a pineapple.
But it's interesting what you said about the flapjack, though. I mean, I know that what we ate wasn't a healthy flapjack at the weekend, and I think I ate a box of it from what David's comment was to us. But my recovery this year, and I think it's a combination of everything, but my recovery from Tough Mudder was like, I feel fit as fire. Last year, I think I was wrote off for a week. And I know that's a combination of a full year of additional training and that. And I do know that it is that. But I also think we had more food this time. There was only one food thing last year. It was rubbish. And we also had the isotonic drink, which I don't actually like. But because I had cramp last year, I made sure I drank it. Yes. So my recovery's been like... But I couldn't believe, well, we were faffing on in the park and the outdoor gym on the Sunday. Maria was trying to get us on a walk.
I've seen that.
I obviously didn't eat enough of the flapjack because I'm still broken.
And you know what? David said, I said, oh, this flapjack's lovely, isn't it? He went, that's where it's all gone. So I grudgingly said, do you want a bit? So he took some out of me too. So I was thinking, all right, okay, so I've had too much, but hey ho.
But for sure, flapjacks are very convenient, and especially if you try and go for one that's a well, actually like a high sugar one, if it's a sports performance thing like it was on Sunday, and then try and like, it's why I was going for the ones that had less chocolate and more oats, and the toffee flavor ones are sweeter, or caramel, it's more sugar for sure.
You know the granola that we have for breakfast, girls, that recipe. If you just leave it a little bit longer, it comes out in big chunks. And that's really good to take at, like, if you're doing long distance walking or whatever. Really nice.
Definitely brilliant advice, Jackie. And you want to have this in your backpack and also have something in the glove box of your car. Have a backpack, glove box of your car. Never leave the house hungry. Never leave the house hungry. Eat before you go. Have something with you in case something happens. Fruit is a great one, of course. Also, fajitas can work if you do it right. If you have fajitas and you have it in a Tupperware box, and you drain out the juices so it's not a sloppy mess, you can put lettuce in a wrap and then have a fajita, provided you make it when you're about to eat it. And well, maybe it's just me, but I love them cold as well. I think they're just as good cold as they are hot. Last question, then we're going to go into a mastermind. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was just to say about with our experience of hiking on long distance walks, and especially when the weather is hot, that meat things don't travel terribly well. So I must admit, we tend to compromise with things like peanut butter and jam sandwiches, but then and fruit and stuff like that, and leave the meat and the protein for when we get back for our recovery meal, because there's nothing worse than hot cheese, warm cheese sandwich or a warm ham sandwich. I think they just go really nasty. So and warm salad as well.
Yeah, agree with you, absolutely, 100%. And actually, you've reminded me of something as well. And don't go crazy on this and say Alex said this, and this. What, anyone here like malt loaf? Ever had malt loaf?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Love
love it.
I
Love
get a
it.
reaction. Malt loaf, high fiber, high protein, high carbohydrate. It is a great food as an athlete, and I recommend buying the ones that are pre-wrapped. That helps you put manners on yourself in terms of the portion sizes and not going to anything. So that's the point of it. But definitely malt loaf. We use that when I used to work with a lot of professional athletic teams a few years back.
You mean like a saurine? Is that what you mean?
Yes, that's it. Sorry, nail on the head.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Try not to need to butter it if you can help. For obvious reasons. And I do think it tastes good without butter. That's just me. I do think it tastes good without butter as well. Great. So we're going to have a breakthrough room now. What I want us to do here, and no one's jumping off, everyone hang on, is I'd like us to do some role play in your own rooms, not in front of everybody, in your own, look at Deborah's face, in your own rooms, where you're going to role play having that conversation with that family member who you find the most difficult to get to support you. Okay, so I want you to role play it. If you've done it before, you've done reps, you'll be better at it in person. So when you are going on holiday or having a dinner at their house, you know what to say, how to say it. I'll run through quick ideas with you now, just so you guys can know what to say off the cuff. Number one is have a rule and say, no, I really appreciate that. I've got a rule. I want to plate my own plate. And the reason being is because I know me, I'll overeat. My eyes are bigger than my stomach. If I plate my own plate, at least I can reduce that bloating. But don't you worry, I'll be back for seconds. And that's a great way of complimenting that person. Another idea can be, let me help you there. Let me help. I'll plate all the dishes. I'll plate everybody. And then obviously you're plating yourself as well. Third mechanism is saying before the meal, there's been something I wanted to say to you. I've been nervous about this conversation, but I have been really trying to kind of, well, how do I put this? I've been trying to get a bit fitter. You know, I've been trying to improve my fitness for a while now, and I've decided to kind of really commit to it. And I'm doing well. I've already managed to drop down a dress size, and what would mean the world to me is if I could bring a dish perhaps on Saturday rather than you cooking, or if I could bring us out for a meal, or better again, if you can come to mine, you know, you come to mine. Be great too. The dog's after walking in here, so she's. So I hope that's helpful, guys. Pick a few things there, role play it if you can, and I'll see you guys in 15 minutes. What's going to happen now for all the newbies is there's going to be a breakthrough room here. We're going to have how many participants? We're going to go for 3 to 4. Once the button pops up, hit accept. I'll pull you all back in 15 minutes, so don't worry. And stick to the plan, guys. Okay, stick to the plan, which is the role play, please. There's 3 to 4 in each room. And I'm going to see you all back in 15 minutes. Click on that button, please. Thank you very much. I know. Yeah. Go around, Sky. Hello, Denny. Denny, Jan, Fiona, Kim, how's things? How do we find that? Can you hear me? How do we all find that?
Interesting. Yeah, we've got some good ideas.
Excellent. Give me some examples.
Taking your own food to a barbecue.
Yeah, absolutely. Chicken skewers.
Having children with multiple food allergies and you never get asked to go out anywhere anyway. Works really well.
That's easy. Brilliant.
Slightly a bit excessive, but it does work.
But I'm hoping, and actually into the chat, guys, everyone has just jumped in. Into the chat, please. 3 things that you've picked up today that you're going to try. 3 things, guys, into the chat. If you've just joined us, 3 things into the chat that you've picked up that you're going to try. Let's see what they are. See any just yet. Increase your water intake. Beforehand, just say no, not for me. That's a good one, not for me. I like that. Serving yourself. Thanks, Deborah. Fiona, offering to cook rather than to take away. Say this is really important to me to keep me on track. Exercise more before going to an event. More water beforehand. Smaller plate. A few choice bits. Taking on food, driving, no alcohol. In Ireland, if you're not drinking alcohol, it was either assumed that you're either driving or on antibiotics. They were the only 2 reasons that were accepted when I grew up, is in you're not drinking alcohol. Okay, loads, pregnant, there we go, yeah. Absolutely. Could open a can of worms though, Sam, in terms of where the hell the baby is in 6-7 months time. But I can see the method in it. Oh, you'd have a lot of fun with that. Loads of them. Brilliant. Loads of them here. Loads of them here. Brilliant. Thanks, Denny, for the message. And thank you for the voice note earlier, by the way. So, guys, I'm hoping there's been a few things there that we can pick up from today. So this week's challenge, you know, we love a challenge, is what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go for a meal out. Very simple. Go for a meal out with yourself or with your family. Take a photograph of you having the meal out and post the inner circle. And I want you to just state what you did, what you ordered, why you ordered it, what you did, the picture, what you did, why you ordered it, and what you did to stay in control.
You might get 2 for 1 for me, because I'm meeting Chris Diamond at the weekend, so I'll drag her into the challenge with us, because she's really trying her hardest at the minute to join all the lives and things. So
I was chatting to her on Saturday. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So do, for sure, bring her along, send a photo, get a selfie, guys, in there. So photograph the inner circle, elite challenge complete, what you ordered, why you ordered it. And by the way, why you ordered it can be the fact that you like nachos or that you like pizza. But what can you do to control the calories of both of those foods? You know, what can you do to minimize the downsides of having a higher calorie food? What can you do to offset it? Sati, go ahead.
Mine's off tangent. It's not talking about what we're talking about. I just wanted to know if you watched your video with the video that you wanted us. We wanted somebody to record you with David doing that challenge, that obstacle. Have you watched it back yet?
About 45 times. It is one of the happiest moments I've had in a long. Don't tell Babs it's Sky being born 3 months ago, but it's been up there as in one of the key highlights. Those of you who don't know what we're talking about, guys, as Evan David went head to head on the monkey bars on Saturday. And I said to beforehand, David, the only outcome make me happy here is if I get across and you fall in. If that happens, honestly, it'll be so important to me. So it was neck and neck the whole way. In the very last,
until you kicked him.
I didn't know. It was the wind. There was a wind. There was a wind that blew me, and I swung into him accidentally. That's the story, and I'm sticking to it.
It took your leg out, did it, Alex? It just blew your leg out into him.
Yes, Kathy.
multiple times. But ask David about it, actually.
No,
please.
because you cheer. I sent him an audio message because he sent me one today, and I said, "Oh, we're cheering you on, saying, come on, David, because we know what happened last time in Edinburgh, and it happened again. But he did touch back to it, play to him. He did touch the end, but he just fell back in. So, oh gosh,
Yeah, he was
saying,
gutted on the Saturday night. He was like, I bloody touched it. And actually, when we walked away from that obstacle, I was walking with you and David, and you were rubbing it in proper, Alex. You were going, I couldn't have asked for a better outcome. I was like, hey, you're awful.
You couldn't contain yourself, Alex.
I was so content. David would be the first one to twist the knife other way around. I'm like, yes, got it here. But I think it's because it happened exactly like that 2 years ago, where he got a foot on and then fell back when he's 99% of the way across. So guys, if you are in communication with David, please do ask him how it went. How were the monkey bars?
Yeah, because he was laughing. He was laughing, like he couldn't stop laughing about me and what happened to me in the mud mile. And then I said, oh, well, what about, because the highlight of the thing was when everybody was like getting like, you know, because you come into the end, and he said, oh, that everybody's like getting all down, thinking, oh my god, we got so no energy. And he goes, that happened. And he goes, it's so funny. And I knew he was going to laugh. So he's laughing all the way through it. And then so I sent him on back, and I goes, it's not just me, it was you and Alex had. That was good. That was a highlight as well.
Absolutely. And actually, guys, that's one thing I talk about all the time, is that I tell Babs that I want to laugh more. And Tough Mudder, I've never laughed so much in a day. Ever. I've never laughed.
Amazing.
But guys, if you enjoy laughter, I highly recommend sign up next year, July 13th. I'm making it compulsory now, as I'm sure you've seen from my live on Monday. I think everybody should be involved in it. It's just so much crack. We're going to do 2 more questions. Kathy, go ahead.
Yeah, mine is a bit regarding this, but a bit of it. I have been craving pizza for the last 2 months. Is there any way I can manage? And there's no point saying have half, because I've no one else to have another half with.
Yeah.
You know, it's. Do I just
you can have the
fighting it?
You can have the pizza recipe that Alex has mentioned.
Yeah, there's one with a wrap, isn't there? The wrap.
The pitta one, isn't it? I think, Alex, isn't it? The pitta bread one.
Yeah, the pizza. Well, no, the wrap. You can have a wrap and make a pizza.
Great memory. There's a couple, but my favorite one is just a convenience one. I love a bit of convenience. If you buy a jar of pizza sauce in the supermarket, buy a wholemeal or a white pita bread, one that fits in a toaster, so not a gigantic one now, one that's about the size of a palm of a hand.
Yeah.
Toast it, and then make your topping. Make your pizza topping, which I used to always use. What did I have? Onion, mixed peppers. I'm not going to say pineapple because salad. I'll keep that, guys. There we go. Chicken as well, a bit of mixed herbs, and I then would use a separate saucepan. Slowly just warm the pizza sauce. Take it out of the toaster. Put it on the pita. Put the topping on. And then I might add a little bit of grated cheese, but sometimes you don't even need it because the pizza sauce is so nice. If you have enough toppings, it's totally fine. Or some mozzarella. Control the portion sizes. You can buy low-fat mozzarella. If you don't want to make your own, and I actually do recommend you try that, guys. It is really, it can be lean. If you don't want to make your own, you can buy a pizza from a box. Compare the backs of the boxes in terms of how many calories per 100 grams to see which one perhaps the 4-calorie one. Go for a pizza that's not like a meat feast, a vegetable pizza. If you want to really push the boat out, I'm not a huge cheese fan. I like cheese, but I'm not like my wife who loves it. She'll hate me for saying that. So what I'll do is I'll reduce some of the cheese on it with a knife. I'll just grate some of it off. And if you're getting it from a takeaway, you can also get pizzas in Pizza Hut where the middle is cut out. There's a salad in the middle.
Yeah.
Low cheese or less cheese. You can share it with someone by eating it out in a park, Kathy, giving it to someone else, giving away some food. People typically don't say no to that. Not in my experience if it's pizza. So I'm hoping you've got a couple couple ideas, but the best thing Jackie said there was have it. Don't deprive yourself. If it's been something that's been going on for a while, have it.
Have it.
If it's a craving that's a once off, I would obviously ride the wave of crave and try and get past that. But have it. And what you'll find is typically after you've had it, you know what? Didn't really hit the spot, and you'll move past the craving then.
Yeah, you do.
Which is pretty cool. Okay, so a few more hands up, guys. Deborah Hunt, go ahead.
I just want to quickly share a win, and it's a health win. So 2 weeks ago, I went to the doctors, and I have really high blood pressure. I'm on 3 tablets a day. My blood pressure was low, and I had been having dizzy spells. They took a tablet off us for 2 weeks. I've been a day, and I'm offered altogether. I'm only on 2 tablets a day now.
Amazing.
So I thought you'd like that one, Alex, because it's a proper health win.
Love that, guys. I love
that. Just like hi. So I'm having a really good week because I've been called a little pocket rocket off Dawn Wilson, which is like I have never been called little in my life. Obviously I spent quite a lot of time in your arms, Alex, on Saturday when you were hoisting me up on things, and like last year that would have mortified me. This year I was just like, just get me up. So it's just like, so I'm really trying to, I've made myself a promise today not to focus on the scales, because the difference in a year on the non-scale things is just like blew me away.
Can I just add to that? I've got a health win as well. I had bloods taken on Friday. I've got blood pressure issues. My cholesterol last year was 6. It's now 4.2.
Wow.
My blood pressure is 125/70, and my pulse has gone from 86 to 64.
Oh my
God.
Brilliant. Jackie, yes, big hand for Jackie and for Deborah for that. That's colossal. Both of you, please put them in the inner circle, because the health wins that I love about, because I know that will genuinely add years to your life. You know, so that's fantastic.
I messaged Caroline this morning because obviously I did that live with her when she was on about the diabetes and stuff. So, so I messaged her again this morning to say I'm definitely off that tablet. So
amazing.
I've still got 2 to go, but I'd never ever thought. I kept saying all the time I've really high blood pressure. That's not going to change, but it is. It bloody is, and I can't believe it.
Great feeling.
Get you off the meds completely. It's doable. All of it's doable. We're going to do 3 more. So we got Rhonda, Anne, and we got Cheryl. And then we'll let you go, guys. And I know I've got you way past 8 already. So thanks for your patience. Rhonda, go ahead.
Right, just a quick one. After Tough Mudder, I found I wasn't hungry at all for about 3 days. Very difficult to eat anything. What's your suggestions for food for refueling?
For refueling. So if you lost your appetite, that could be
and I put on weight.
Well,
me too. Yeah.
I don't think it's real weight, first of all. You know, like there's no way it's real weight, because you know, obviously increase your activity. Probably you have a higher salt intake perhaps than usual, because I know we had a roast dinner afterwards, and I'm pretty sure salted. So that definitely will have contributed, but you won't have gained weight from it. Like it doesn't make sense physiologically. In terms of what to eat to refuel, I think we did have quite a bit of carbohydrate going around. Probably would have had more carbs, I'm hoping, on that day than you normally would have in a day when you add up the roast dinner afterwards, the breakfast, the flapjacks. So there wouldn't be a massive need to refuel for the day after, again, unless you're planning on doing Tough Mudder on the Tuesday, which I'm pretty confident you hadn't been planning to do. So unless we have exercise bouts or events that are back to back, the refueling process is not as essential. It's when we're training twice a day where we have to be really on point. But the main thing is for all those Tough Mudder people is take it easy this week. Don't overexert. Don't be going for PBs. Okay. Just show up, go to the gym. Today I was very close to not going myself, very close. But I said, I'm going to go. I'm going to see how I feel, commit to the warm up. And then actually, once I was warmed up, all the kind of niggles went away, and I was moving some decent weight. So, Cheryl, you're first. Cheryl, go ahead.
Yeah, it was only just to say I shared the link with you for that John created for all those photographs. There's over 800 of them.
What? Amazing. Yes.
And a number of videos as well.
Brilliant. Love it. We now have a video editing team in TSD who's going to take over making the montage. It's pretty cool. It means it'll get done a lot faster than me doing it. So I'm very excited about that. Watching the montage back is it's hairs in the back of the neck stuff. Like it's I'm delighted to hear
Just
that.
say thanks to John, because he really was brilliant. He walked round. He didn't stick to the spectators. He walked round. He queued with us at that huge tailback thing before the minefield one.
Wow.
You know, he was great, and he was there taking photos. You know, not just of you, but of everyone, which was lovely.
Oh yeah. Honestly, there's
didn't have anyone there. You know.
And he gave us a lift, seeing as I'd lost the car keys.
Yeah. Please do thank him, Cheryl, because
no, that's fine. I just told him he'd be bored sitting around waiting for us, so he may as well come around and take a few photographs. And then he'd got paracetamol in the bag, he'd got flapjacks in the bag, he got all sorts he was giving
He
out.
wasn't around when I got injured, though. He disappeared.
I think we've actually bullied him into signing up for next year, because we did say you might as well join us, John.
David was cracking up tonight to say, how come he still was around at the end of the night having an extra pint? You'd gone home, Cheryl.
That's what happened.
No,
Peter and John were waiting for the ladies to finish up, and the next thing, all of a sudden, they're back with 2 pints of lager in their hands.
Yeah, because they were being cheeky, because they said the way them two talk, that we'll never get home, so we might as well have another pint. That's exactly what they said, Alex.
I was there. I said, lads, you may as well go. You may as well go. You're dead right.
Because they were trying to ply us with Prosecco.
I was Prosecco all around to celebrate. And I think everyone needed to be celebrated. I mean, what you guys did on the weekend, and I hope people here who weren't there don't feel excluded, because that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just really want to celebrate everyone who did go, and obviously encourage more people to go again next year. It was one of the most rewarding, because it always is experiences of not just what I do for a living, but my life. If you take out my wedding day and of course Sky's birth, it's just sensational. And Anne, whenever you're ready, hand up, last one. I'm going to have to unmute you. Hang on a second.
So, yeah, I just wanted to say a big thank you to everyone in the inner circle, because I don't know whether you knew that I'd shared my collaboration post on the public group. And then there was, and all the comments I had were lovely. And then there was a really rather unpleasant comment came up the other day, which I then sort of shared in the circle, and just all the fabulous support I had from Mish and Deborah and everybody about this. I think hopefully that comment's been taken down now, but because I did report it, but and I didn't take it too much to heart, and I certainly didn't engage with it. But I just wanted to say a big thank you to everyone for just having my back, really. So that was it.
And if you could do me a favor and screenshot the person.
Alex, if you look in the collab feed, in the collab message group, I've put a photo shot of it in there.
Oh, thanks, Deborah.
What I don't want it to do is to have the opposite effect on people who are doing collabs. I don't want it's to celebrate, not to have mindless people making negative comments.
Was your profile, Anne, or was it on the inner circle?
It wasn't on the inner circle. It was on the Sustainable Change, the public group. The public sustainable change group.
The people are normally really, really nice, but sadly.
Oh well, everyone else was. There was just this one, and she
don't worry, we are ruthless with banning people in that group, so they're actually gone.
I was hoping Maureen might pick it up, so that's why I put it. I thought it might be easy to put it in the collab message group, and then I knew that Maureen would probably pick it up.
Than me. So, and first of all, fair play to you for thanking everyone, and I appreciate that, and I want to thank all of you for supporting each other.
Absolutely.
Because of all of you guys, and I put a post up yesterday. I'm not sure.
I did,
see if I can get people who perhaps are nervous about posting to maybe just step forward a bit and step out of their comfort zone and post. And I've been giving it more thought today on what else we can do to help encourage people who perhaps are a bit nervous about doing it. And if you guys could help me out with this, and if you notice someone post and you see that I don't normally post, or I'm in week 2 or week 3 or at the start, or you don't recognize the name, because I know what happens is I fall into the habit of replying to people where I recognize the name. And that means that I'm probably not having a conversation with other people who I don't know yet, which isn't ideal. So if you notice someone whose name you don't recognize, zoom in on that one, please, and just support them, allow them to feel like they're part of this, because yeah, it would break my heart to think otherwise. So I'm going to finish on Denny's note here. I know it's 15:15. Denny, go ahead, hands up. Hands up, you put your hand up. Denny, can you hear me?
I don't know whether you'll hear me. I've got lousy connection.
I can hear you.
Can hear you.
But I just want to say thank you.
Oh, Danny.
Thank you
Danny.
for all the people that helped me.
Yeah.
You're so welcome, Denny. You're so welcome. As I said to Hayley literally this evening, I said if I'm half as fit and strong when I'm 69 years of age, Denny, as you are now, I'll have won, you know. So you're a true inspiration. I remember you said to me, I can't see you, I can barely hear you, I know your lips are moving and my legs don't work, but sure, let's keep going, you know.
Yeah.
If someone says that to me, like, I just think that is the personification of just being solution driven and a not quit attitude. Like, do not quit attitude. And
She's just absolutely amazing
incredible.
person.
Incredible. And all of you should be so proud of yourselves, regardless of whether or not you did Tough Mudder. The fact that you're here, you're focusing on your self-development, your self-care. And I want to thank all of you for everything that you've done to just help each other, most importantly, on the inner circle or at Tough Mudder, because that's incredible for us to see. Incredible. Anyway, guys, I'll leave you at that. Denny,
Well done, girls.
fresh air.
Bye.
All the best.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.